Well, on this date, back in 1862, Mexicans defeated the invading French at the Battle of Puebla. Cinco de Mayo has since become a U.S. celebration of Mexican-American culture. Dr. Colorado is here to reflect on what has become one of Denver's biggest annual celebrations. It's nice to see you.
Great to be here, Denise.
Did I say that right? It was Puebla.
You got
Not
it.
Pueblo. I want to say Pueblo, but it's Puebla. And tell me about those Spanish priests, the first to explore, and they actually mapped out Colorado.
The Fathers Dominguez and Escalante, two Franciscans, way back in the memorable year of 1776, when the eastern colonies were agitating, these folks set out to establish a mainland route between Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Monterey, California.
Wow. And
Before
what year
that,
was
you had
that?
to sail all around the Gulf of California to get there. 1776.
1776.
And they take a map maker with them who does the very first map of Colorado, and they start sprinkling the landscape with those wonderful Spanish names.
Isn't that wonderful? And what actually survives today of Colorado's Spanish settlements?
There's wonderful little adobe chapels. You find a lot of them in the San Luis Valley where landscaping. George O'Keeffe loved painting them with that adobe, and the color blue there is supposedly the color of the Blessed Virgin that would keep the devil away from the church.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. That's gorgeous. And of course, something else, you mentioned the Spanish names that have survived.
Right, aren't they? They're so much more sonorous than the English names. And many places that were once, now have an English name, were once Hispanic. Denver, for instance, was Mexican Diggings, but they're chased off and the name changed from Mexican Diggings to Denver.
Is that true, or are you kidding me?
This is true. No, it's in Smiley's History of Denver, the first history.
I have never heard that before. That's something new I just learned today. Tell me about the religious art of Hispanic culture.
This is one of my favorites. You see San Ignacio here, the patron saint of farmers. And what happens to him is he takes a nap, and while he naps, the angel comes and does his work for him.
That's a wonderful photo.
So if you ever want to take a nap and you get tired, pray to Saint Isidore and he'll come do your work for you.
You know, you
Plow
can
your
find
field.
all of this amazing information on his website. You can go to dr-colorado.com, dr-colorado.com. He knows so much about Colorado here. How has Mexican food helped bridge the gap between English-speaking and Spanish-speaking Coloradans?
You know, there used to be two separate communities by choice. The Hispanics wanted to stick by themselves and the Anglos didn't want anything to do with them. But then, when you've tasted your first margarita, you have your first enchilada, your first chili. Can you remember that religious experience?
I love myself some margaritas.
And all of a sudden, those people seem a lot nearer and dearer to you. They have a much better interest in Hispanic culture. And places like Casa Mayan would have Spanish folklore, dance, music. You get to meet the whole family and would somehow bridge that chasm.
Is it true, Dr. Colorado, that Denver has one of the largest Cinco de Mayo celebrations?
I think so, as we just saw this past weekend. It's 2 days.
Yes.
It's free. Everyone is made to feel welcome, and of course you get great Mexican food and the incredible colorful, like these dancing ladies here.
Oh yes, I love those dresses, beautiful. I used to do that when I was younger. My friend, when I lived in California, Denise Uriarte, she was into Mexican dancing, and her mom Lillian would make those dresses, and so I'd go over there each day and they'd teach me the steps. Isn't that interesting?
We've got to have you do that next Cinco de Mayo.
I don't know if I can do it now. I mean, that was when I was like 10 years old. You know, although they were here first, do you feel that Hispanics suffered persecution at all here in Colorado?
Yes, sadly, and often being accused of being lazy Mexicans. And who does all the hard work when you look into a construction job?
Yeah.
Here's the border crossing. Governor Ed Johnson set this up to stop anybody of Hispanic who looked Hispanic or had a Hispanic name, to check them out to make sure they were legitimate citizens, which was an insult to people who had been living here 7 or 8 generations. They were the first folks here.
Gosh.
As the exhibit at History Colorado now puts it, we didn't cross the border crossed us. Much of Colorado used to be Mexico.
Right, yeah, so heartbreaking when people say such horrible things. Yeah. Thank you for coming on and giving us our little education about Cinco de Mayo. All the fun that you can have with Dr. Colorado. You can join him for History's Colorado's rail tour of the Hispanic San Luis Valley this summer. For details on this and, of course, Dr. Colorado's other tours, talks, and book signings, please check out his website. Go to dr-colorado.com. That's dr-colorado.com.